upon a time, in the lush forests of West Africa, there lived a clever spider named Anansi. He was not just any ordinary spider. He was known throughout the land as a trickster, a master of wit and wisdom. His nimble legs could weave the finest of webs, and his mind could weave stories that held powerful lessons. But despite his intelligence, Anansi was not always beloved. His cleverness often led him into trouble, for he would sometimes deceive others to get what he wanted. It is said that in the beginning, the world was without wisdom. The people were lost wandering in confusion, and they did not know how to live or understand the mysteries of life. Wisdom was locked away, hidden in the heavens, guarded by Nyame, the sky god. Nyame kept it in a great, shining box, high above the clouds, and he had no intention of sharing it with the earth below. Anansi, curious as ever, heard whispers of this wisdom and its magical power. He desired it for himself, for he knew that wisdom was the key to ruling the world. He had always been clever, but he believed that with true wisdom, he could become the wisest being in the land. One day, as Anansi spun his web beneath the great baobab tree, he pondered how he could obtain this wisdom. He had heard that only a brave soul could steal the wisdom from the heavens, and that such an endeavor required cunning and courage. Anansi was both of these, but he would need to outsmart the gods if he was to succeed. Anansi decided to visit Nyame, the sky god. He traveled across forests, through rivers, and over mountains, until he reached Nyame's great palace in the sky. The sight of it took his breath away, a magnificent building made of shining gold and silver, with walls as high as the clouds themselves. When Anansi arrived, he greeted Nyame respectfully. "Great Nyame, I have come to ask for a great favor," Anansi said in his soft, persuasive voice. "I have heard that you possess the wisdom of the world, and I would like to ask for a portion of it." Nyame looked down at the tiny spider, amused. "What makes you think that you are worthy of my wisdom?" Nyame asked. "The wisdom of the world is not something to be given lightly. It is a treasure, and only those who prove themselves worthy may possess it." Anansi smiled. "I am clever, and I believe I can prove my worth. I ask that you test me, Nyame. Give me a challenge, and I will succeed." Nyame, intrigued by Anansi's boldness, agreed. "Very well, Anansi," said Nyame. "If you can complete 3 tasks, I will give you my wisdom. But fail in any of them, and you will leave empty-handed." Anansi, confident in his abilities, accepted without hesitation. The first task, the lightning of the gods. Nyame's first task was to capture the lightning of the gods. The thunderous bolts that lit up the sky were the source of great power, and only the bravest could tame them. Anansi, thinking quickly, knew that he couldn't catch lightning with his bare hands. So, he fashioned a small, enchanted gourd from the vines of the forest and filled it with water from the river. He then set the gourd at the base of the tallest mount, where the lightning was known to strike. As the storm clouds began to gather, Anansi climbed to the peak of the mount, where he could see the dark clouds swirling above. The lightning crashed down, but every time it did, it was absorbed into the god's enchanted water. With his web-spinning skills, Anansi secured the god and descended the mount, the power of the lightning contained safely inside. Nyame, impressed by Anansi's ingenuity, nodded. "You have completed the first task, Anansi. The second task, the fierce storms. The second task was to calm the fiercest storms that rage across the land. These storms were caused by the winds, and they terrified the people. Nyame told Anansi that if he could control these winds, he would have proven his worth. Anansi pondered how he could tame such wild forces of nature. He decided to seek the help of the great turtle, who was known to live in the deepest parts of the river. The turtle had lived for centuries and knew many secrets of the earth. When Anansi reached the turtle, he explained his task. The turtle, wise and slow, smiled and agreed to help. I will lend you my shell, the turtle said, for it holds the strength of the earth itself. Use it to catch the winds. Anansi took the turtle's shell and fashioned a great fan. With this fan, he stood at the shore of the river and waited for the next storm. As the winds howled and the sky darkened, Anansi began to fan the air. Slowly, the winds began to calm, and the storm dissipated, as if the earth itself had sighed in relief. When Anansi returned to Nyame, he presented the shell and the winds that had been tamed. Nyame, astonished by Anansi's success, said, "You have completed the second task." The final task, the eye of the sun. For the final task, Nyame asked Anansi to capture the eye of the sun, a glowing orb of incredible beauty and heat. It was said that no one could approach the sun without being burned. Anansi thought for a moment, then remembered a secret he had once heard: the sun was afraid of the moon. The moon was the only being who could tame the sun's blazing heat. Anansi traveled to the moon, who agreed to help him. Together, they devised a plan. When the sun rose high in the sky, Anansi used a special mirror, crafted from the moon's light, to reflect the sun's rays. With the sun distracted by its own reflection, Anansi quickly snatched the eye of the sun, a glowing crystal that held the sun's energy. Returning to Nyame, Anansi presented the glowing crystal. Nyame, now truly amazed by Anansi's wit and courage, finally agreed to give him the wisdom of the world. The gift of wisdom. Nyame handed Anansi the great box that contained the wisdom. As Anansi took it, he noticed that the box was surprisingly light, yet filled with a deep, mysterious power. "You have proven yourself, Anansi," Nyame said. "Take this wisdom and share it with the world. But remember, wisdom is not a treasure to be hoarded. It is meant to be spread, so that all may benefit." Anansi nodded, grateful for the gift. He promised to share the wisdom, but in his heart, he knew that he would keep some of it for himself. For wisdom, after all, could be a powerful tool when used carefully. And so, Anansi returned to the earth, where he shared the wisdom of the world with the people. He taught them how to live, how to love, and how to understand the mysteries of the universe. But he also reminded them that wisdom was a double-edged sword. It could bring peace, but it could also lead to trouble if misused. As for Anansi, he continued to spin his webs, telling stories and weaving lessons for all to hear. And though he was known as a trickster, the people soon realized that the stories of Anansi held deep truths that helped them navigate their lives. Thus the legend of Anansi the Spider lives on, a reminder that wisdom is not just about knowledge, but about how we use it in the world.